The broken mirror. Frida Kahlo lay in bed, staring up at the ceiling of her childhood home in Mexico City, which now felt more like a prison than a refuge. She was only 18 years old, but her body already carried the scars of a lifetime. The bus accident that had shattered her spine and pelvis months earlier had also shattered her dreams of becoming a doctor. Pain radiated through her every breath, and she felt trapped, by her body, by her circumstances, by the endless hours of loneliness. The doctor had said she might never walk again. At first, she had raged against the news, tears burning her cheeks. But now, her anger had settled into something heavier, a quiet despair that threatened to consume her. One afternoon, her mother came into the room with something unexpected, a small easel, some brushes, and a set of paints. She placed them beside Frida's bed, then hung a mirror on the underside of the canopy above. Frida frowned. "What's this for?" she asked, her voice tinged with bitterness. Her mother smiled gently. "You have always loved to create, mi niña. Perhaps it can help pass the time." Frida wanted to scoff, to push the paints away, but instead, she let her fingers trace the edge of the brush. It had been so long since she'd held one. Before the accident, she had dabbled in art for fun, sketching and painting small things that amused her. But that had been a lifetime ago, when her body was whole. Now, as she stared up at her reflection in the mirror, she saw someone she barely recognized. Her face was pale and gaunt, her dark eyes shadowed with pain. The vibrant, spirited girl she used to be seemed to have vanished. And yet, she was still here. Tentatively, Frida dipped a brush into the paint. She raised it to the canvas on the easel, her hand trembling slightly. She didn't know what she wanted to paint, so she started with what she knew best, herself. The face staring back at her in the mirror became her subject, her muse. At first, the strokes were hesitant, unsure. But as the hours passed, they grew bolder. She painted her high cheekbones, her thick brows, her dark hair. She captured the sadness in her eyes, the determination in the set of her jaw. It wasn't just a reflection she was painting, it was her soul, raw and unfiltered. By the time the sun set, Frida's hands were smudged with paint, and the beginnings of her first self-portrait stared back at her from the canvas. For the first time in months, she felt something stir within her. It wasn't happiness, exactly, but it was something close to it. Purpose. Over the weeks and months that followed, Frida painted every day. Her pain didn't vanish, but it became something she could hold, something she could transform. She painted her suffering, her longing, her resilience. She painted herself again and again, capturing not just her physical likeness but the emotions that coursed through her. Each painting was a declaration: I am still here. I am still me. Years later, Frida would become one of the most celebrated artists in history. Her vibrant, surreal self-portraits would captivate the world, turning her pain into beauty, her struggles into strength. But it all began in that small room, with a broken girl staring into a mirror and finding a way to create herself anew.